How you doing, everybody? This is my answers video. I got a whole bunch of good questions. Let's get straight into them. First questions were 3 questions from TheGreatBaba. Hello Matthew, a few questions. If Inoki had died, not Baba, would Puro be stronger? Yeah, probably would be, because Baba wouldn't have done what Inoki did, and that was co-promoted with Pride and put over the mixed martial arts fighters, encouraged the guys from New Japan to fight in Pride FC and lose and hurt their reputation and hurt the reputation of Puro. So, and another case was, I can't remember who it was, but Scott Norton was the IWGP champion, and Inoki, he was more fond of the shooters because that was his style, and then the Pride FC fighters, he declared one of them the real IWGP champion before a title match. So everyone knew that this guy would win and Scott Norton would lose, because Inoki was just so keen on it, and he's just done. He just got a bit eccentric and did some stupid booking decisions. And IGF, you can see that's more of what he wanted to do, because it's mixed with wrestlers and WWE guys and mixed martial artists, and yeah, it's just quite silly, and yeah, I mean, it's not drawing incredibly well for what he thought it would be or what it would have done in the past. So yeah, how do you think CZW would be different if they aired their pay-per-views? If they had aired the pay-per-view they taped in 2000, the deal here was they'd air a pay-per-view if it had Atsushi Onita and versus Terry Funk in an exploding barbed wire deathmatch. That didn't happen. How would they be different? They'd probably be the same, because I don't think they would have had regular pay-per-views for too long, as buy rates wouldn't have been high enough, because they don't have the type of buzz that CZW did. Or TV, strong enough TV, and the same thing that happened with their Fake You TV show. Eventually they would have just been screwed around enough and they would have just gotten cancelled, so they'd be in the same boat they are now, if not dead, because the talent would have wanted too much money, and in not being able to get paid, they would have left, and so they'd just be on this level, or they'd try to pay them and to keep the fans up, but they wouldn't have enough money to pay them after they lost TV or pay-per-view or whatever. Do you think Go Shiozaki will get more of them Morishima, Rikio and Marufuji if he's given the championship? This is the GHC championship in pro wrestling. Now, yeah, I do think he has more of a chance, because of he's a better wrestler and he's more charismatic than Morishima and Rikio. Marufuji, he has an advantage over him, even though he's not as good a wrestler. He has the advantage because he is a heavyweight. But his biggest disadvantage is, which could stop him from getting as over as he should, or as these guys did, but they didn't get too over, is the fact that the NTV deal is no longer with them. But if yeah, they don't have the NTV deal, which means they've lost a lot of exposure to a lot of Japanese fans. So yeah, it is going to be very difficult to make him a star, unless of course he's on this show that they've got on Osaka TV, which they're trying to syndicate into different markets in Japan, which will be about the life of a wrestler. Unless he's on that, maybe that'll do quite well with him. ringofedwin asks, what do you think of Resident Evil 5 so far, and is it better than Resident Evil 4? No, it's not really better. I do really like it, but I think it's, I mean, I really enjoy it, and I'm playing it for the second time now. Resident Evil 4, though, I enjoyed a lot more, because there's a better mix of horror as well as action, whereas this one's more action-based, and so it doesn't really make it as exciting for me. I just run through and shoot everything, and it's not as challenging as I thought it would be. So yeah, and Resident Evil 4 was more revolutionary for its time. Resident Evil 5 just feels like an extension on that. A8 asks, how long do you think the new ROH show will last on TV? It depends on what the ratings are. I guess it's too early to judge by now, but if I was to make a guess based on buzz, because there is more buzz on this than there is on their HTNet's most their highest rating shows, which are Dream and the Affliction pre-show. Because I do follow MMA, I'd say yeah, they should do alright, so they should last a while, but it might be they go out of business before the TV deal expires, so there is that, but you never know. It might not last past 6 months, it might just not get a high enough ratings for them to feel it's a sustainable TV deal. But yeah, I'm guessing if I was to just make a stab in the dark, I'd just say probably a long time based on the amount of buzz. Geoshi asks, Matt, I've got a question for you. With the recent death of Andrew Martin, aka Test, and WWE's failure to acknowledge his passing, what are your thoughts and feelings towards WWE's new invisible policy of bad press is still bad press. They acknowledged it on the website, but I mean, I understand why they don't acknowledge it on TV, because if word got out, and the thing is, he's getting a toxicology report, which means he was taking something he probably shouldn't have been. Probably. I meant to put that at the start. Then, you know, it could, you know, open up the whole Benoit can of worms again, and they don't want that because it's time-consuming and it hurts their reputation, and you know, so I don't blame them. They got shareholders to answer to, but it's just quite shitty because, you know, these are people here, you know, they did work for your company, but you know, they're a business, and big business is evil, as Funaki would tell you. Dill650 asks, who would you rather see be the next ROH champion out of Jerry Lynn or Tyler Black? Jerry Lynn, because he was already working a program with Nigel, so it would make more sense. And there was even a video where Jerry Lynn said, look at you, you're falling apart, because Nigel always seems to have black eyes and shit, so yeah, and it would make sense in the context of the storyline, and not even by design, just by chance. It would be an idiot to fuck this up, so you just give it to Lynn because of, and say it's because of Nigel's injury. And then you could have Tyler Black have a face versus face match with Jerry Lynn, and you know, a passing of the torch kind of deal. And I think that would work pretty well because both of them do have a similar style they can work, and it would be good for Tyler Black for Jerry Lynn to give him give him a rub, as they'd say. So yeah, I'd have to say Jerry Lynn first, and then Tyler Black. Next question is from the WWE Killer. What are your thoughts on the tag titles finally being unified, and do you think that they should do this with other belts, seeing as the brand split is non-existent? Thanks. I really like that they're merging them, because there's less than a handful of teams to wrestle for 2 sets of tag belts, and the brand split is non-existent, so I don't see why all these shows should have exclusive belts. I think the ECW, World Heavyweight, and WWE should be merged, if not just the World Heavyweight and the WWE. The Divas and Women's title should be merged, and the US and Intercontinental, you can keep them separate, with the US title, you know, replacing the European, I guess, because people are always going to see it as below the Intercontinental title unless it's booked really well, which it has been in the past. But you know, you kind of just keep the US title on SmackDown and the Intercontinental title on Raw, and yeah, just do that. My plan was originally just to have unify the world titles and just have the champion go on all 3 shows. And have the Intercontinental be the main belt of Raw, and the US title be the main belt of SmackDown. So yeah, there is that. I'm really happy about the merging. I think they should do it more. Too many toes. I believe the current deathmatch scene, with some exceptions, is a bit of a slum right now. Do you agree with it? What do you think it's saving? In terms of the product, I think, yeah, a bit of a slum, not too bad, but mainly because there's been a lack of creativity and innovation in the deathmatch scene. Everything just seems to be a light tubes match now, especially in Big Japan, even though they do them really well. They put on really, really good wrestling matches, and IWA Mid-South to an extent. IWA East Coast was the only person who didn't cliche the light tube scene in terms of actual its place in the wrestling business. It's in a real bit of a real slum, because the promotion hasn't been right. I mean, IWA Mid-South barely promotes shows, you can tell, because they only draw 60 fans. There's not enough stars within the deathmatch scene, there's not enough buzz, because everything that you could do within the deathmatch scene is kind of being done, you know, interpromotional feuds, and a lot of the stars have gone. ECW and FMW in Japan is dead, so, and those were really, ECW being the most popular hardcore wrestling promotion. You can use, promotions like CW and IW Mid-South did live off the trickle-down effect, and when wrestlers left there, they could book them and bring in a new bunch of fans. I mean, the lifeblood of any promotion is bringing in new fans, and CCW, IW Mid-South, IW East, none of the deathmatch promotions in North America are really doing that. They're not bringing in any new fans, and it's because of a combination of no buzz, no stars, bad booking, bad promotion. I mean, the only times I can remember any deathmatch promotions being on Wrestling Observer / Figure 4 Weekly in the past year is, I mean, Big Japan with the rape issue that happened earlier in, I think it was February, IWA Mid-South because of Mick Knuckles' leg breaking, Dave Taylor not getting paid for the Ted Petty Invitational, and the Ted P Invitational itself, that was marred by the Dave Taylor not getting paid, because I just spoke about that more. That Mike Levy incident where Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez pretty much buried him on Wrestling Observer Radio, and CCW's Cage of Death 10, which people said was an average event, but and most people, the joke coming out of it was Don Fry being there drunk. So yeah, all the things, and they just need to create new stars, get some buzz around the product, do something to get people interested again, which they're not doing. And the last question is from Led Zeppelin and The Who. Do you think pay-per-views tend to have cliched, unoriginal names? I know it's a trivial matter, but it's quite excellent to me. Yeah, it's quite excellent to me too. It's not just in wrestling. It's also in mixed martial arts. For me, it's quite irritating, especially with Hard Justice, because it sounds like a gay porn. Anyway, thanks for watching. Goodbye. Send more questions if you want me to answer them.